Oo, totoo yan. Di maiwasan na maaluan talaga ng pagdududa na parang nagmamadali si Vice President Leni Robredo na umupo bilang presidente ng bansa. Kasi alam naman natin, bilang Vice President, waiting president ka eh. No? Ikaw ay isang spare tire. Kung sakasakaling in case, no? In case of incapacity, removal, or death ng umuupo, no? O incumbent president, katulad po ng Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Well, sabi nga nila, respetuhin natin yan dahil normal na proseso, political exercise na isang demokrasyang bansa, katulad po ng Pilipinas. O, dadaan sa Kongreso, pero alam naman natin, di ba? Mukhang hindi uusad kung sakasakali mang may mga impeachment cases. Sabi ng Pangulong kahapon, tama na yung mga impeachment cases, huwag na nating pansinin. Ang kinakailangan talaga ng bansa natin ngayon, ang kailangan ng bansa natin ngayon, ibenta ang Pilipinas sa turismo. Isulong ang pag-unlad ng bayan at hindi po yung atras, abante at hindi na. Dire-diretso na. O, sulong Pilipinas. Yan ang kailangan natin ngayon. Dagdagan pa ang maraming mga airports, lalo na sa mga lugar kung saan malago ang turismo. Diyan po sa Batanes, sa Bohol, sa ilang lugar sa Mindanao. Magdagdag po tayo ng kalsada sa EDSA. Ngayon, meron pong manggaan ngayon dyan sa Circle. Nako, matraffic po ngayon ang elliptical road dahil po sa banggaan. O dapat magdagdag tayo ng highway sa taas na. Wala na mapaglagyan. Airport, pantalan, tren. Yung railway system, dapat palaguin pa natin. At negosyo. Kasi kung magsusumbong tayo doon sa narcotics, tawag doon sa United Nations kung saan nagsumbong, no? Okay, nagpadala ng video message ang pangalawang Pangulo, mahirapan talaga tayong ibenta ang bansa natin. Marami nagtatanong, totoo ba yung extrajudicial killings na yan? Masyadong na-emphasize po yun na in fact wala namang ebidensya talaga na may kagagawan yan o talagang tinotolerate ng gobyerno. Ulitin natin. Sinabi ng Pangulo, hindi po kinokondon ng gobyerno yan. Yung mga patayan nangyayari, sindikato po yan, sila nagpapatayan dyan. Ang utos ng Pangulo malinaw, you hunt all the drug lords. Okay, tugisin yan. Kung may mga warrant of arrest, isilbi. O habang kayo nagsisilbi ng warrant of arrest, kapag lumaban, kapag kayo unahan sa pagbaril, alam nga naman, pabaril ka sa sarili mo. Iunahan mo na ng mga pulis. Ganon. Justified circumstances, self-defense po yan. So, yan ang kinakailangan natin ngayon. Isulong ang ating ekonomiya. Paunlarin palalo ang Pilipinas. Kapag iiwanan na po tayo dito po sa Southeast Asia, yan ang kailangan natin. Pagkakaisa ng taong bayan upang tayo umasenso, upang tayo maging susunod na super, siguro na pagdating sa ekonomiya, dito po sa parte ng Asia.
PTV, Telebisyon ng Bayan.
Pilipinas, magandang hapon po. Nagbabalik ang PTV News Break. Hinimok ng Department of Tourism si Vice President Leni Robredo na maghinay-hinay sa pagre-report tungkol sa umano'y extrajudicial killing sa bansa. Aminado si Tourism Secretary Wanda Tulfo-Teo na nahihirapan siyang i-promote ang turismo dahil nakakaapekto ang mga pahayag ni Robredo sa isang video message nito sa United Nations. Pero sa kabila nito, kumpiyansa pa rin ang kalihim na tataas ang tourist arrival sa bansa, lalo na ang mga dayuhang mula sa China, Europa at maging sa Asia.
The march was an admirable gesture that showed the resilience of people fighting for what is right. However, we must not make a habit of placing such a burden to our citizens, especially the poor, when the most basic document of our democracy has made the responsibilities of the state clear. The provision for affordable housing and basic services for homeless citizens was written in 1987. But when I was HUDSI chair, I found out that there was an almost 5.7 million backlog in houses that needed to be built by the government. There were 27 requirements and steps that must be taken before a company can even begin socialized housing projects. No wonder it takes a while before the first bag of cement can be bought and used. We pushed to reduce the 27 requirements to as low as 9 before I left. I hope they continue to adopt it. Sections 15 and 16 of the Constitution call for spaces for people participation and adequate consultation. Yet, it has been a struggle to pass the People Empowerment Bill, which I filed when I was still a member of the House of Representatives. Section 9, Article 10 also calls for local sectoral representation, but we know that until now, no law has been passed to make this happen. The Commission on Human Rights and the CBCP are now leading initiatives for human rights awareness. The campaigns they plan to conduct in churches and communities feature a human rights module to inform people on the courses of action they can take in defense of their rights. Among the stakeholders tapped for this initiative are members of the academe and lawyers groups. These campaigns require extraordinary courage at a time when the words human rights have been given an entirely new meaning, as if human rights were distasteful things and those who work to defend it are doing a disservice to our nation. Unfortunately, knowledge of the law does not always prevent abuses. This is why the only way for us to survive these dark times is to survive it together. If we study the history of humanity, we will see that it is only when human connection reaches the right depth, when we recognize the inherent value of each other's liberties. After 2 world wars, we reached a prime conclusion enshrined in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. That, and I quote, the recognition of the inherent dignity and of the equal and inalienable rights of all members of the human family is the foundation of freedom, justice, and peace in the world. Close quote. It is a truth we would benefit from remembering. Sadly, today, we seem to be doing the exact opposite. I wonder when we started forsaking the truth. At what point did we begin to regress into the mindset that we can take the freedom of others into our own hands? The common denominator for this abuse of the regulations is poverty. If we as a people redirect our political will and resources to long-lasting solutions for poverty, instead of the more divisive wars we are waging now, no one loses. When I took my oath as Vice President, and when the President took his own oath of office, we vowed to defend the Constitution and to do justice to every man. My commitment is to fight for the rights of the poor, marginalized, and disenfranchised as a human rights lawyer before, only strengthened when this position was given to me by the Filipino people. And every week, since my oath-taking last June 30, exactly 33 weeks by today, I replace office attire for regular street clothes to go to the farthest and poorest municipalities in the country of our people. Yesterday, we just arrived from Barangay Udalo in Piagapo, Lanao del Sur, from Tangkal, Lanao del Norte, from Dayawan, Marawi City, and from Sagyaran, Lanao del Sur. These are conflict-ridden areas where almost no one dares to visit because of security concerns. In so many of these areas we visited, residents choke with tears when they see us, saying it is the first time that they are visited by a national government official. It would have been much easier for us to just send a team to do interviews, conduct needs assessment, and render us a report. But there is something very critical about finding time to walk where they walk. As we let ourselves experience some of the difficulties they face. We build empathy. And we bring the government down to the people, giving them hope that they have not been forgotten. This is our way of defending the Constitution and doing justice to every man. We make it a point to be with the poor, sharing their tears and their heartaches, and thereby establishing that the government has empathy for their troubles. Even as my team and I leave their homes with broken hearts, we vow to return, not just with help, but also programs to make them believe in their own capacity to uplift their own lives. Our way of defending the Constitution and strengthening our institutions is to speak the truth and show our people that there is nothing wrong with speaking dissent, that it is our right and sometimes also our burden. Our children's children must see that our society will not silence anyone who believe they have something to tell. It has been decades since the institution of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the 1987 Constitution. One would think that we should have been long past debating fundamental rights. However, as I said, these are extraordinary times. These are particularly challenging times for our profession. You are here, and therein lies the promise. Since the beginning, it is during times of extreme darkness when the world discovers extraordinary leaders. Think of Jose Abad Santos, the fifth Justice of the Supreme Court, who chose to give up his life instead of collaborating with an oppressor. Think of Nelson Mandela, whose leadership entered apartheid in South Africa. Both chose to remain unmoved in their principles, no matter how difficult the path that they have faced. The darkness, terrifying as it may seem, has the ability to define the light and the truth, and allowing those who are brave and selfless to shine. We do not seek darkness, but we must not fear it either. This quote from Thomas Paine's The Crisis says it clearly, and I quote, "These are the times that try men's souls. The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will, in this crisis, shrink from the service of their country. But he that stands by it now deserves the love and thanks of men and women. Tyranny like hell is not easily conquered. Yet we have this consolation with us, that the harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph. What we obtain too cheap, we esteem too lightly. It is dearness only that gives everything its value. Heaven knows how to put proper price upon its goods, and it would be strange indeed if so celestial an article as freedom should not be highly rated." Close quote. Now more than ever, the Philippines needs its lawyers to have the audacity, the courage, and the tenacity to be on the side of human rights and freedom. Let us safeguard our Constitution against abuses, prevent our institutions from weakening, and save our people from their disillusionment. Our fellow Filipinos need our leadership. Thank you all very much, and may you have a very productive convention ahead.
Thank you very much, VP Lenny, for your enlightening topic on empowering the people through law. At this point, IBP National President, Attorney Reyes,
international organization or some international forum with people also in government saying things, saying unequivocal things about extrajudicial killings, about being in darkness, about being controlled by a madman, then technically people will take that statement hook, line, and sinker because she has the seal of the vice presidency in her back. And that is the problem. Why? Because for outsiders who do not know the real story in the Philippines, they will say, oh, perhaps that might be true. Why? Because the second highest person in the land is trying to tell us this. Now, I tell you, are these statements, are these numbers being supported by evidence? Well, technically, if you look at it from a point of view of statistics, it's not. It's actually a distorted number. It's actually a skewed number. So, and as vice president, she cannot put us to the dogs. Hindi tayo pwede ilagay sa basura. And that's the problem that's the reason why all of us are angry, not because we are pro-Duterte supporters. Of course, we are supporters of the Constitution. We are Filipinos. We get hurt. And if our vice president is doing that to the Philippines on the guise that she is our vice president, then perhaps there's something wrong with the system.
In addition to the two, we are looking at the possibility of effective statements of assets, liabilities, and net worth. We are not yet final on that. We are still looking into it. If she filed the correct SALN, if she declared all her properties in the SALN, or if her assets have been declared in the right way. So that's an angle that we're looking into, because remember, we have impeached the Chief Justice before on that basis. So even if we know that in impeachment proceedings there is no precedent, stare decisis doesn't operate, but, and my lawyer friends would tell me that, but we already have at least in the history, we've impeached a sitting Chief Justice because of SALN. So that's one possibility. And it is a culpable violation of the Constitution. Wait.
So sino pong principal niyo? Sino pong mag-funding dito para mag-vote for impeachment?
Walang funding sa amin at this point. Kami ay pag nag-meeting kami, kanya-kanya kaming bayad kasi if you notice, this is the popular misconception that we are funded by anyone. We are not funded by anyone. We are doing this we have our own careers at hand. We can afford a little bit of comfort and luxury.
Pero wala kayong principal. Sabi nyo kanina para supporter ko kayo Duterte.
It does not make us a principal. It does not make Duterte our principal. We support him. That's a common goal. But that is not for. Ibig sabihin, pag 5 kami lahat, Duterte supporter, si Duterte na ang aming backer. Hindi po totoo yan. Parang pang LP ata yung dialogue na yan. Hindi po para sa amin yan.
Just an addition to that, no?
Excuse me, wait, hold on, you're out of order. Wait. Sorry, sir, you're out of order. There is a question.
Okay.
If there is a, hold on, sir, excuse me. Sir. Sir, excuse me. Okay, enough. Sir, please stand down. Stand down. Okay. It's alright. The question was taken and it was answered. We understand. We understand. Alright. Henceforth, please, questions will pass through me. Okay? Please call my name so that I can acknowledge you. Alright?
Something lang.
Hold on.
Okay. As to the question if the president or the government is our principal, I will categorically say no. Because I myself, during the campaign, I contributed to his campaign. Ako pa nagbigay ng pera. Hindi ako yung binigyan. And up to now, it's still the same setup. I am giving now my time for this. So that's to answer your question.
Categorically, none of us here are agents of the president. Alright? Thank you. Yes, no, actually that is an important question. And thank you very much for that. Sir, blue shirt. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Kayo po. Yes, sir. Right now, all we do is call ourselves the VP Robredo impeachment team.
Wala kaming name. We don't have a name, honestly. Wala kaming name. Hindi kami boy band na may name, but we don't have a name.
Excuse me, sir. Yes, ma'am?
Actually, if you notice, we're all social media bloggers. If you know, know our group, meron po kaming nagkikita-kita po kami on a regular basis. So, announced to many, marami sa amin lawyers. Ito, si Attorney Trixie, lawyer, ako lawyer, si Attorney Tom, lawyer, si Professor, almost lawyer kasi talagang he knows the law. He is a professor in the academe. So, nag-uusap-usap kami, and then it came to a point that talagang hindi na namin talaga kaya. So, somebody like said, why don't we file a way to impeach her? Or why is this impeachable? So, we decided, it was just a group effort, and then later on, may mga kumausap na sa amin, ng mga ibang tao, giving support. And that's the reason why it gave us enough energy and enough motivation to do this.
About when? After po ba ng video lumabas?
Actually, after the video na 45 siya. But even before that, yung mga ginagawa niya, medyo naaano na kami. Nagsasabi na kami, di ba impeachable yan? Di ba ganun yan? Nag-uusap kami, Paniero Tom and Paniero Trixie, over lunch or coffee, parang, hindi ba dapat i-impeach na ito? Parang, wag muna kasi mahirap naman. Kasi,
anong instances po yun? Na even before, sinasabi niyo po,
so sobrang dami din yung maalala. Oo, hindi naman to hindi naman to yung bagay na sinusulat namin sa aming journal, hindi po ganito to. Yung mga meeting lang to once in a while na nakikita kami, we do it regularly, almost once a week or once every 2 weeks, nakikita-kita kami. And we do that because we have been attacked. We have been attacked in social media. Marami kasing instances na we are being trolled, attacked by people. So yun po yung situation, kaya kami nag-uusap-usap. It's not because that we want to be mutual assistance, because kami po ay ina-attack sa social media. So we seek each other's comfort. Parang misery loves company po ang tawag namin diyan.
Social support. Meron po bang congressman na willing mag-endorse po o mag-sponsor ng impeachment campaign?
Actually,
Meron, pero hindi namin pwedeng masabi pa kasi we don't want to preempt kasi baka naman magbago isip niya, di ba? Hindi natin alam. Because of course, hindi namin, kasi ito honestly, if the president, we kind of expect that he will stay away from this, but of course, we don't know the minds of the people kasi kami, we have different minds. Though we support the president cannot tell us what to do because we're people.
Hold on, sir. Yes, sir. Sandala.
Sinasabi ng mga kababayan natin na because of the impeachment campaign, we are dividing the nation. What is your comment or reaction on this?
Our nation has already been divided, for crying out loud, sir. But of course, we have to be honest, but we have to be very careful with saying the word division. Because division actually says it's 50-50. Yan ang division eh. Pag sinabi mong 70-30 or even 80-20, that's not a division, that's called democracy. So when you say division, make sure that you have the facts to say it's division. Because if you say division, it's actually like, for example, 53-47, 48-52, yun po, division yun. Naghati ang bansa. Pero wala naman tayo nakikitang social weather station survey ngayon yung nagsasabi na the nation is divided in the middle. In fact, almost the last social weather station SWS and Pulse Asia survey said that the president has overwhelming support of the Filipino people. So it's not a division, it's just that a few noisy ones want to make noise and they have the power to do so. Our country is not divided, sir. It's democracy.
At saka dagdag lang bilang isang political scientist, gusto kong ipaabot sa ating lahat na ang isang demokrasya laging divided. Laging hatian eh. Maghanap ka ng isang demokrasya na hindi divided, papuputol ko ulo ko.
Komunista na yon, di ba?
Kasi, ang ibig sabihin na meron ng monolith, meron ng isang boses, and beauty ng demokrasya, naghahati-hati tayo. But at the end of the day, it should be the rule of law, it should be the rule of the majority, and this is precisely what is hurting us. That a voice of a minority is the one that undermines that democracy. Diba? Kaya yun ang dapat nating i-address. At meron naman tayong proseso. Kung talaga nakakasama sa demokrasya itong proseso ng impeachment, ba't nakasulat ito sa konstitusyon? This is available to us. This is one way of removing an impeachable official. So kung ito masama, bakit sana isunulat ito dito? Available ito sa atin as a recourse. Para tanggalin ng isang opisyal na nakikita natin nagkakanulo na ng pagtitiwala ng bayan.
Wait, hold on. Dion, paki-distribute yung statement.
Yes.
Si Dion.
Yes, sir.
Sandali, dito, sir. Yes, sir.
Ulitin ko lang po yung clarification ko. Kasi kanina nga, tinanong na kanina, may panawagan si Presidente na huwag na itigil na yung planning impeachment para dito kayo. So, kahit makausapin kayo personal or kahit alam naman natin na kayo ay supporters ni President Duterte, hindi nyo ba pakikinggan yung makiusap na yun ng Pangulong Duterte?
Of course, I can speak only for myself, kasi iba-iba kami ng utak lahat hindi naman kami yung isang utak lang. For me personally, I would look into what we can get, kasi this is a 2 to 3 week team case building process. So at the end of the day, pag tinabi namin na ka-impeach, even if President Duterte will say tigilan na natin to, we cannot just simply turn our heads and say tigilan na natin to because our president said it. We are followers, but we are not blind followers. Meaning, if we see fit that Leni Robredo should be impeached, even against the will of the president, then what can we do? We are Filipinos. We are not Duterte supporters only. We are Filipinos.
Sir, hindi na po yung mga kongresista na nagsabi na i-endorse nila. Kung hindi po pwedeng pangalan pa kahit numero nila po.
Siguro si Speaker Alvarez has already mentioned that as long as he is able to review the impeachment complaint, pag nakikita niya na
there is sufficient form and substance, he has already mentioned that he will endorse it for in the committee. Meron po kami kinakausap, yun siguro hindi ko po na ma-disclose. The only thing I can disclose is, as mentioned by Speaker Alvarez, which we have not communicated directly yet, we will show it to him, and if he feels that it is sufficient in form and substance, then he will endorse it. You cannot make an impeachment complaint in 2 days. It has to have a certain number of days to create a case build-up. So ito yung prosesong ginagawa natin after the lawyers have seen that there is really a clear impeachable offense, betrayal of public trust. Nakikita pa nila na meron pa palang iba. So we have at least 2 to 3 weeks to do the case build-up, and after which the complaint is already written, drafted. We will now meet with Speaker Alvarez and we'll show it to him if he wants to go.
Gaano po kayo ang kumpiyansa na ma-approval niyo sa Kamara? Considering na yung mga statements ng mga presidente na ayaw nito.
Kahit naman anong gawin namin, wala naman talaga kaming kumpiyansa sa ganung bagay. This is a leap of faith. Kaya nga sinasabi ko sa inyo, kami, lahat, we are staking our credibility, we are staking our names, we are staking everything here, but there's no assurance because if you notice, the president has already said, well, he's not going to support it. So if you would make it appear that this is politically motivated, it's not. So what we are doing here is out of our duty to support, our duty to the Filipinos, because we feel that we have been maligned for a long time. Ako personally, I've been out of the country for many times. Maraming mga tanong ano nangyayari sa inyo? They feel na may mga tao, they literally felt that dead people are in the streets, that we are in a state of despotism, that we are in a state wherein all of us are fearing for our lives. That is the impact that we are getting from the foreigners outside. And as a Filipino, nasasaktan ako kasi hindi naman totoo. That's it. That's why we are doing this. All of us. We have been traveling all over the world at a certain point, and we get the same exact concern. Doon kami nasasaktan.
Balikan ko lang yung tanong tungkol doon sa kung anong reaction ko dahil ayaw ng presidente. Let me just put it on record that I do not serve the president. Hindi niya ako sweldohan, hindi ako binabayaran ng presidente. I am not in his payroll. I don't serve him. So, kahit anong sabihin niya, kung patigilin niya man ako, kung nakikita ko pa rin na dapat gagawin ko. Okay, we are all independent here. In fact, even if on overall sinusuporta namin ng presidente, pero may kanya-kanya kami mga disagreements sa kanya. Kung personally, for example, I'm anti-death penalty. Okay? Ayoko kay Gina Lopez. Di ba? So, may kanya-kanya may pag-iba dyan. So, hindi pwedeng sabihin na isa lang hilat siya ng pagmumukha namin dito.
In addition to that, no, if you're saying that, okay, let's just clarify. Personally, okay, from my point of view, ano sinasabi ni Presidente? Lahat tayo trabahante lang sa gobyerno. Okay? When he presented himself as a candidate, he was applying for a job. Sa akin, yun lang ang tingin ko dyan. He was applying for a job. Same with Grace po, Mar Rojas, Jojo Binay, all of them were applying for a job through my vote. And when I voted for him and I decided to contribute, you know, a small amount to his campaign to help him, I was hiring him. Okay? Let's make that clear. Okay? I hired him to be my worker, not the other way around.
Sir, sorry sir, nauna po siya. I will correct that. I was never the lawyer for Magdalo. I was the lawyer for Captain Nick Feldon and 3 other Marine officers who, by the way, were all acquitted. Just wanted to know. So I'm not, I never was, nor ever have been a lawyer for Magdalo. Okay, Congressman Alejano is free to file an impeachment complaint the same way that we are. We've had a look at the impeachment complaint that he filed, and I understand that they filed a supplementary complaint. They need to file a supplementary complaint. That is the only comment I am going to make. Okay, next. Sir? Yes, sir. Sorry, sir, from? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sorry, to whom, sir? Crofton.
Opo, political science po.
Yung issue naman dito is how will you be able to raise the 1/3 to support the impeachment complaint when the president himself, who is actually the head of the party or the political sa house, ayaw niya.
Alam mo, para sa akin, ako lang, hindi ko iniisip yan. Ang iniisip ko lang gawin ito, and then let us see. Kasi, kung ang isipin namin na wala tayong number, kasi alam ko naman, game of numbers ito bilang ito. Pero kung nakakikita kami na mali ito, dapat ipaglaban, at hindi lang tayo maglalaban dahil ngayon, alam natin kulang tayo sa bilang, ayaw pa ng Pangulo, ay di palagi na lang tayong ganun, palagi na tayong matatakot. The reason why we are making this with the people, tingnan nyo ngayon, hindi pa kami nagpa-file, pero andito na kami, humingi kami ng dagdag na tulong, dagdag na puwersa, because we want this to be an impeachment complaint by the people against the sitting Vice President. And let us take it from that. But right now, hindi ko iniisip yun kung kulang ba ang 1/3 yung 98, 9 o 100 na members of the House of Representatives na yan. Pero, correction lang sir, I think it is also wrong to assume that just because the President would say no, that automatically the House of Representatives will also say no. That there is a big chance, but you have to also understand, may mga kunyari, ito na lang sa death penalty, alam naman natin, mas gusto ng Presidente, mas extreme ang boto, pero tingnan mo, hindi naman nasunod yung gusto niya, di ba? Although compromise, pero hindi naman nasunod.
So, can I add something? We have to understand that we are governed by the three branches of government. Each are independent in itself. The judiciary, the executive, and the legislative. Yung legislative, hindi naman kontrolado ni Presidente yan. In fact, kaya nga siya nagsusona every year dahil pinapaalam niya sa legislative na ito yung aking agenda as President to help him because he will only execute. So technically, this is a challenge on the House of Representatives and on the Senate to make do their role as the voice of the people. So this is not, even if the President will say we are not supporting this, I will not support this, or I am not behind it. At the end of the day, it will redound to what? It would be down to the House of Representatives hearing its constituency and acting on it. Yun po yun. Hindi po yun yung dahil sinabi ng Presidente. Kasi kung sinasabi mong, pag sinabi ng Presidente, ayaw natin, pinapalabas natin ng mga fanatics tayo. O kaya mga wala tayong isip. Ang mga congressman ay para mga minions lang. Hindi po sila ganon. So, marami pong instances na ganyan na nangyayari. So, I hope that we separate the presidency from the impeachment because it's not his role. It's not his duty, and I would think that it would be bad if he would, dip his finger on it.
Yes, sir.
Good morning. I'm Camilo Villones of KTV Philippines. I saw the interview of the President this morning, and I view it as the first act of the President as a statesman, because he gave a very good answer that we are a working democracy. Now, I expect that your move will go smoothly at the lower house. How do you foresee? Will there be rough sailing when you reach the Senate?
Well, let's put it this way. Mapanalangin din po kami. Kaya in as much as possible, we are praying that it will be a good Senate, a good impeachment court that will handle it, open-minded, impartial, and of course, God-fearing. So we are asking the CBCP to help us pray. Yun po yung pakiusap namin. Na sana tulungan din po kaming manalangin na masilayan yung ating mga senador.
I'll add to that now. As to your question, sir, how do we see it, whether it's going to be rough sailing in the Senate or the House? I will speak for myself. I cannot say. But I will definitely tell you there will be two outcomes. Either we win or we lose. Ganun lang yon. And whatever happens, we're okay with that.
Last na lang. Ito kasi aming impeachment, hindi namin to sinasabi na gusto namin mapatalsik talaga. Alam mo yung, hindi namin, it's not hindi namin ambition in life na ipatalsik. Hindi kami namin personal. Of course, if we lose the fight, it's still a victory for us. Why? Because it only proves to show that democracy is working. Yun lang po. Do not say na ito mga mercenaryo, ito mga halang kaluluwa nito mga taong ito, hindi. Kami po, we are just testing democracy if actually there is democracy working, because that is the argument of the other side towards the outside world, that we have no democracy, that we are killing the drug suspects, that we are killing even people who are not even drug addicts or drug supporters or drug pushers. So we want to tell the world that, hey, there is a democracy in the Philippines, and we are proof of it. We are trying to push the buttons of democracy, and here we are.
Yes, sir. Sir, although sabi ni Digong red light siya sa impeachment, pero would you encourage him na supportahan kayo?
No.
Bakit po hindi?
We don't need him, honestly. Honestly, we don't need him. We want the president to do his job. We want him to work. We want him to go around the Philippines, encouraging Filipinos to be Filipinos. We want him to go around the world to encourage, to promote investments. We need him to do his job. We don't want him to be worried about Lenny talking about this, people talking about that, people talking behind his back, people trying to destabilize him. We don't need him to worry about that, because we need him more as our president for every Filipino, not just for the Duterte supporters, but for every Filipino.
Sa mga senators po natin, sino kaya pinaka-qualify na pwedeng kapalit na ito? Tingin nyo lang.
Ayaw namin, una sa lahat, ayaw namin kasi baka may magsabi na si Trillanes, mahirap na, di ba? So, ang akin lang is, we will cross the bridge when we get there, but at the end of the day, we just want democracy working. That's it.
Ma'am, over there, please.
Yes, ma'am. Three kami. Apat.
Yung at present po ba, parang yung pinaka-basis po ay yung speech or yung message ni VP sa UN?
Hindi siya yung basis, siya yung nag-udyok, siya yung nag-push ng buttons bakit kami nagganito, but it's not it. It's a conglomeration of everything. Kasi you cannot just, ito yan eh, you cannot just impeach somebody on one act. Hindi po pwede yan. Yung kay Elap, nailala nyo dati, it was the white envelope or envelope, it was an envelope, but the envelope did not say anything. It just, triggered something. So, the speech was the trigger. Ito yung nag-udyok sa amin na, teka muna, yung ganon. Ito yung nag-create sa amin na napainom kami ng pampakalma. Kasi ngayon yung nanginginig kami sa inis. But for the past months, before after she assumed office, there are so many things that well, it's too many to mention. It's a conglomeration of things that, well, we just have to wait and see how we present it.
Thank you.
I don't want her to explain it. I just want her to she does not owe us an explanation at this point. We just want to finish the articles of impeachment, place it in the proper venue, and then perhaps maybe allow her to explain it there. Kasi mahirap, because I cannot trust her explaining to the public at this point with her propensity for distortions and for half-truths and slanted truths. Hindi ko po, I don't want her to be doing that. I want her to be doing the explanation in the proper forum.
Attorney, does it mean that the video message is not enough basis for the final?
I cannot say, because of course, maraming nagsasabi na wala naman daw, sabi nga ng iba, betrayal of public trust daw, kaya there is no crime committed. You do not need to commit a crime to betray your public trust. That's it. But maraming nagsasabi ng ganun. So, there will be so many opinions later on. I'm simply saying na, well, their opinions might be valid because there are also lawyers or learned scholars. But at the end of the day, this is a political exercise. This is not a court case. This is not a criminal case. This is not a civil case. This is a political case. So it will redound to what? It will redound to how the Congress acting how the people acting through its representatives would deal with it. So yun po yung aming basis kung bakit kami nag-file ng impeachment.
Right. Yes, sir.
Another question. Yung group's political or legal move will necessarily require popular support. Because
Please define popular support.
popular support means to say the people will be behind you. Do you have any plans how to mobilize the people so that you will clearly show that the people are with you in this house to fight for them?
Well, we already said, sir, that, we don't care if the president is with us or not. Okay? If they're free to support, we will respect that. We've already said we don't care whether the president supports us or not. We don't care whether the people support us or not. Remember, we are invoking a constitutional process. Regardless of whether people agree with it or not, we will follow and we will obey the majesty of the law.
Don't you have plans to mobilize the people?
Of course, we have plans.
Busy na kami. Wala na kami oras din.
Ako hindi pa masyadong busy. So, I have to be honest. We differ in that regard. No? Ako kasi, I believe that the people's voice should also be heard. That's the reason why on April 2, meron po kaming palit bise sa Luneta. I will be there. I am also spearheading the event. Kaya malamang ako yung target ngayon ng lahat ng kalaban. So here I am. Okay. The April 2 event will be headed by, of course, Mocha and myself and Jimmy. And we are asking the people to show indignation towards the actions of our Vice President. This is the first time we will actually be impeaching a Vice President. Yung parang magtataka yung bakit yung vice wala pa naman sa posisyon. Yun nga yung bago dito na bakit natin i-impeach ang hindi pa naging presidente. Why? Because she's doing something ruinous to our country. So come April 2, meron po kaming event, meron po kaming indignation, people's rally. Wala pong politiko doon, kami-kami lang po. Tayo pong mga Pilipino andon, magkakaisa tayo. We will, this is not even a celebration because there's nothing to celebrate at this point. We are destroyed in the international community. Our Vice President, sitting Vice President, single-handedly destroyed our reputation. So we are there to show indignation. So we need people's support. And we need also people to support us, lawyers, and those who are learned, and those who have information. To please do come out. Well, at your own risk, of course. We cannot secure your we cannot secure your safety kasi kami din hindi namin alam paano i-secure yung sarili namin. But we want to make sure that this pushes through because democracy is really working in the Philippines, and we want to show the world that it is working.
Information lang po, measure ng support, nag-put up po ng parang funding nung sa Luneta, wala palit bise. Sa mechanism na nag-solicit ng funds online all over the world. Wala pang 2 araw o 3 araw, nagkaroon na kaagad ng 1.6 million.
Halos 2 na ngayon.
Halos 2 million na ngayon.
Despite being hacked
several times, attacked. So that means that there is widespread support. And if you are if you read FB, social media, Twitter, na kung saan halos doon na yata ako nakatira, kaya nagagalit ang asawa.
Ako din.
Makikita mo doon, grabe ang sentimiento, and I see people who used to support Mrs. Robredo is now changing their minds. So, there is a groundswell. We don't know how much, we don't know the numbers. The only number we can cite is that in order for you to generate more than about close to 2 million in less than a week is already enough to tell you that there is a support behind this.
One more question, please.
Yes, sir.
Are you supportive of finding a Christmas spot?
We will cross the bridge when we get there, but it did cross our mind. Pero as lawyers kasi, ako personally, parang tatanggalan mo pa ng labada yung, di ba, tatanggalan mo ng posisyon, tatanggalan mo pa ng labada. Masakit yon. So, ako, I will, technically kami, speaking as lawyers, medyo, no offense, man. Pero ako kasi, parang masakit na yun yung tanggalan mo na ng, at pinaghirapan na, ilang beses siyang kumuha ng bar, so mahirap. Oo, so, nakakatawa
personally, ako also, I agree, no? I mean, there is life after politics.
Yes.
Our officials have to understand this, eh.
Oo.
Diba? Kaya kapit tuko kayong lahat dyan kasi ginagawa nyong hanap buhay. Diba? Tapos na yan, okay? We are serving notice now. Business as usual is over. Diba? You can work hard and earn good money outside. It's not who you know, it's what you know.
Tsaka yung impeachment process, kasi pag na-impeach ka, hindi ka na pwede magsilbi sa gobyerno. Forever. So kung tatanggalin mo pa siya ng kanyang profesyon ng pagiging abogado, parang inalisan mo na siya ng kinabukasan. Ako personally, ang tinitingnan ko kay Lenny dito, yung ginawa niya bilang bising pangulo. Hindi ko siya inalisan ng kinabukasan bilang isang tao. So yun lamang, so hindi ko susuportahan ang tanggalan siya ng kabuhayan. Although I'm sure marami siyang pera.
At I'm sure na kami
I'm sure na sa mga nakikita namin mga datos, hindi siya maubusan ng pera. Pero huwag na rin nating tanggalan yon. Nandun na, sa kanya na yon. Pinaghirapan niya yun, sabi nga ni Bruce. So ako supported ko yung impeachment, pero yung kaso na para madisbar siya, hindi na. Tama na yun.
Bilang kayo po ay mga abogadong may puso, maaari po bang paliwanagan niyo po ang ating Pangulo kung ano ba ang pinag-iba o ang magiging implikasyon kung siya po ay mag-resign na lamang as against ma-impeach.
Pangulo?
Pangalawang Pangulo.
Huwag naman ganyan.
Although alam natin lahat na abogado rin ang ating pangalawang Pangulong si Mrs. Robredo, pero baka kung hindi niya alam ang difference ng mag-resign siya at mag-impeach, tulad nga ng nasabi ni Professor Contreras na pag na-impeach ka, ay hindi ka na pwedeng bumalik pa or mag-run pa for any political positions. So, bigyan nyo nga po ng mag-advise ang ating pangalawang Pangulo at ipaliwanag din sa taong bayan kung ano ang pinag-iba o ano magiging consequence pag siya po ay nag-resign na lamang kung ma-impeach ng taong bayan.
Ito kasi yan, boses. Hello? Ayan, ito na. Mahirap po kasi mag-advise kay Lenny kasi hindi naman siya nakikinig kahit nga siguro kay Jessie na nagsasabi na siguro sa kanyang tulog. So, maybe to tell her na mag-resign, of course, that will be a stretch kasi alam natin that people are behind her. Marami ding pagkabuhayan showcase na alam mo yun, maraming tao sa likod niya who wants her to be there. Kasi marami silang inaasa doon. So, they would never advise her, ma'am, umalis na lang tayo. Hindi po ganun yun. So I would not be presumptuous to say na I would be advising her. Kaya kami namin pinapa-impeach kasi kung kaya lang namin i-advise, in-advise na namin. Diba? Of course, yung resign, madali. Why? Because if you resign, you can actually come back. President Erap did that, and now he is mayor of Manila. So, and of course, if you resign, you can still go back to the good graces of the people. Kasi nga, tayo mga Pilipino, aside sa magaling tayong magka-amnesia, madali tayong makalimot, madali din tayong magpatawad. Salamat sa CBCP na nagbibigay sa atin ng mapagpatawad na puso, 'di ba? So yun po. But of course, when you are impeached, marami pong mangyari yan. That's why kami, in as much as possible, naawa kami kay CJ Puno na impeach din because it was CJ Corona. Baka pareho na CJ Corona na in-impeach nila. Well, of course, I have personal feelings about that. But it's not nice to impeach somebody. Yan ang totoo. But because it's a democratic process and it needs to be done, we have to do it. This is a dirty job, a very dirty job. And I have done dirtier jobs in the past, but this is the dirtiest for me. So, but we have to do it because this is how democracy works. And it is for the Filipino people. That's why we're doing this.
So attorney, in conclusion, ibig sabihin, mas makabubuti para sa kanya ang mag-resign na lang. Para magkaroon pa siya ng hanap buhay or opportunity na makabalik sa lingkod sa public service. Tama po ba?
Sa atin, nakakabubuti. Pero hindi natin alam sa kanya, sa kanyang mga galamay, sa umaasa sa kanya, hindi yun maganda. Siyempre, but of course, siguro, I can say this for myself and for the people who are watching her self-destruct or destroy the Filipino people and reputation. Of course, we want her to resign, but we know she will never resign. You know, that's the beauty of opposition. They want to hold on to it until kingdom come. So yun.
Ako naman, I disagree that we should let her resign. Kasi this is a constitutional process. Let her face the music and explain to the people. Ano ginawa niya, naka-apekto sa ating bansa. So, obligasyon niyang ipaliwanag. Nasasakdal siya ngayon, masasakdal siya. Dapat ipaliwanag niya sa atin. Kung tama yung paliwanag niya, di mananalo siya. Ngayon, kung mali, hindi siya tatanggapin ng tao. Party yun para maglinaw. Kasi sabi nga ng mga kasamahan ko, ako naman handang matalo. Kung dapat matalo kami. Pero kasi pag mag-resign ka, parang it's a parang easy way out. Parang mayroon kang gustong tanggalin na empleyado, tapos maggugulo lang lahat. Sige nga, bigyan mo na lang ng graceful exit. Walang closure, hindi lumabas ang truth. Yung basehan natin sa demokrasya is informasyon, katotohanan, maraming mga kwento, naglalabasan, pati yung ano nga din, we are collective. Diba, naglalabasan yung mga ganyang klase ng kwento. Siguro dapat ay mabigyan ng forum para malinawan tayo sa mga ganitong klase ng usapin. At sa tingin ko naman, kung ako si Mrs. Robredo, haharapin ko to, maganda itong opportunity to, marami siyang pera, ang gaganding ng mga abogado siguro niya, para madepensa niya sarili niya at pagbigyan din proseso. I think asking her to resign is just a very quick, easy way out that will not serve the interest of democracy.
So, Prof, what about if she issues a public apology and recant all her statements sa international community?
Will she do it?
If she does, ano po ang magiging implication nito sa...
O di mabuti.
That's the first. She just admitted that she's lying.
Oo. lalabas ang katotohanan, hindi totoo yung sinasabi niya, di ba? Pag ganun. Parang I am sorry, ganun. Oo. Di ko ganahan na natin agad, oo. Pasagutin ko dito, MJ, natanong sa akin yan ilang beses. Ako, as long as she says sorry, she admits that she made a statement unverified, uncorroborated, at sasabihin niya sa European Union na nagkamali siya at bawiin yung mga threat sa ating bayan. Kasi ang punto ko dito is really paangatin yung buhay ng ating kababayan. At yung mga negosyo na yun, napaka-importante sa atin, yung mga economic commitments. I-recommend ako sa kanila na i-atras ang impeachment complaint. But that's a recommendation I will make if she does that.
Jo, may tanong ba? Other questions? Yes, Ms. Sandra.
Isang balik na kasi, syempre may kaisipan din naman, na just telling what we already know.
What do you know?
That indeed there were a lot of killings when administration started. So, ano mo palagay nyo doon? Ibig ko sabihin, yung kaisipan po na gano'n, ng iba, na pinapaniwalaan ng iba, ay maaring ang pananaw nila voice out lang din naman niya o ano yung nangyayari.
Okay, this is my take on that. Yung sinasabi nilang 7,000 extrajudicial killings, those are sweeping words and generalizations that if you look at it from the PNP point of view, it's farthest from the truth. Kasi marami doon, ito ha, I'm going to give you an example. The definition of extrajudicial killing by itself is not properly defined under Philippine laws nor international laws. Under the UN Convention on Crimes, ito po yung sinasabi mong intentional killings. Intentional killings, for crying out loud, is even higher in 2014 and 2013 compared to present. The 2016 and 2014 are higher than in the present. So, intentional killings yun, meaning murder, etc. Yung extrajudicial killing, baka namatay din sa sakit ng ngipin at binunggo yung ulo niya. And it covers everything, pati yung nasagasaan, pati yung nasaksak dahil nag-away sa syota, pati yung nagpatayan dahil sa Dota. Yun, kasama yun. Yun yung problem doon. So to tell, sabihin mo na what we already know means that, teka, why do you know these things? It's because somebody is spreading it. And it's not us.
Let me add to that, okay? I'll tell you a story, okay? About 2 weeks ago, I was representing a client in Mandaluyong, okay? Criminal cases. You know, ang dami-daming kaso doon. Alam mo yung mga kaso ng mga nasasaktal doon? Riding in tandem ordinance. Apparently, the city of Mandaluyong has an ordinance banning riding in tandem. Pag hindi nyo kamag-anak or hindi pwede. If I'm not mistaken, it's ordinance number 656 series of 2015. Why? Why was that ordinance enacted? Because ang daming patayan ng riding in tandem. Why did we not consider that extrajudicial killing during the time of the past administration? There was an ordinance, an LGU right here in Metro Manila did something about it because it was so prevalent.
Okay, Sandra, bilang yung tugon lang doon sa tanong mo na yung alam na natin, mapanganib na statement yun. Kasi ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng alam na natin? Popular knowledge lang. Ibig sabihin pinag-uusapan lang. Pero nang issue kasi yan ng krimen, statistics, masalimuot yan at maselang informasyon. Nag-make ang ating Vice Pangulo ng mga claims na maaring hindi pa verified. Kunyari yung kanyang sinabing palit ulo, yun ay dapat i-verify muna. Hindi siya ordinaryong mamamayan para magsasalita sa labas ng bansa at sasabihin sa mga tao, sa EU, sa UN, na ganitong nangyayari. Abay kung ordinaryong chismosa ang magsasabi doon, walang problema. Vice Presidente ka, nagsalita ka pa sa likuran mo ang bandila ng Pilipinas, pati ang seal ng opisina mo. It has the imprint of an official statement. Doon lumalakas ang kaso kasi hindi mo pa nga verified. Kaya yung issue na alam na natin, matagal nang alam natin, dapat natin i-unpack yun eh. In fact, if I may, no, huwag niyo akong pagalitan dito, yung 7,000 na nilalabas ngayon,
Alam naman natin na yan ay defective. Na-question na ba yan sa media? Bakit ang media laging ginagamit yung 7,000 na yun, hindi mo nang ina-unpack? Ngayon kung na-question yan, dapat therefore, kayo mismo nagsasabi na hindi natin alam yun, pero yun yung alam na parang chismis lang. Di ba? I interviewed General Bato. I interviewed General Bato about the 7,000. Sabi niya, paano magka 7,000 yan? Paano ganun? Meron namang figures lahat yon. In fact,
Attorney, ako na lang, direct from the source.
Okay.
No? I've been doing, kasi yung ginagawa ng opisina ko is really getting all those data and verifying. Yung palit ulo, hindi ho yung sinasabi ni Lenny na pag ina-arresto at wala doon arrestuin, papalitan ng kamag-anak. Hindi po yun. Ang konsepto ng palit ulo is arresting the small fish, but if you say something to arrest the bigger fish, we will exempt you from criminal liability. That's in the law. Republic Act 9165, Section 33 provides for it. So yan ang konsepto ng palit ulo. Pangalawa yung 7,000. For many months, I've been saying na hindi 7,000, hindi 5,000. Palaki ng palaki yun. Hindi 5,000, hindi 6,000, hindi 7,000. Because what we have to confirm here is how many were killed during police operations. 2,500. Yung 4,500, walang kinalaman sa drug operations yan. Ingat, binatay ng kapitbahay, dota, away, hold up. Ang ginagawa lang nila, that's why we are saying there's bad faith. Kasi alam naman nila yun. We've been telling them all along for so many months na hindi yun ang data, pero binubuo pa rin nila at sinalo ng pandaigdigang komunidad.
At kinakain ng media din. Yun lang.
Okay, wait ha. Guys, please, hold on. Can we just let Miss Sandra finish, okay? Yes. Among others. Among others. It's not a definitive list. Dalawa lang yung binlingat namin na. By the way,
nag-research rin kami. Sabi nga may 500 daw na nag-file ng CHR sa DOJ ng mga paglabag, no? Paglabag sa karapatang pantao. This is not yet official, but meron na silang figure ang DOJ na binigay sa akin. 29 pa lang daw. At hindi pa nila masabi kung yung 29 na yun is within the term of President Duterte. Basta may 29 na nakafile doon galing sa CHR na mga prospective na paglabag sa karapatang pantao. So wala rin 500. Anong saan nila nakuha yung 500?
Alright, Ms. Sandra?
At ito, I talked to General Bato. I had a live video with him 2 days ago. Tinanong ko talaga sa kanya, General Bato, yung sinasabi ba ni Lenny Robredo na palit ulo, yung na-report niya ba sa iyo yan? O nag-require, nagtanong ba siya sa iyo kung totoo yun? She never asked General Bato about, the PNP about it. So, ano yun? Bakit ka magsasabi ng ganon sa UN for international release when in fact you did not even ask the chief PNP if that is the case? What is the palit ulo? Palit ulo version niya, hindi yung palit ulo under the law. Palit ulo, hindi niya tinanong si General Bato nor anybody in the PNP for that matter. So ano yan? Pakit lang, ganon, di ba? Yes, sir. Yes.
Sir, sandali lang.
Tungkol sa extrajudicial killing. Nasabi nila, alam na natin lahat. Pero alam ba natin lahat yung extrajudicial killing na nangyayari sa Zamboanga del Norte na magkalaban ng dalawang supplier ng drugs? Yung isang supplier ay governor at si governor pa ngayon ng Zamboanga del Norte na Liberal Party at pinapatay niya yung mga kalaban niya sa droga. Wala nang imbestiga dito, wala nang sabi dito na alam natin lahat. Pero yan, yung mga killers nila mismo nag-testify na sa Congress na pinapatay yung kalaban nila supplier. At ngayon, yung mga killers naman ng Liberal Party ng Governor ay pinapatay na naman niya. At mayroon pang natirang tatlo na ngayon nag-testify na sa Congress. Yan ang klarong extrajudicial killing. Yan ba pinagit nila ng Robredo na ay yung Governor ng Liberal Party sa Zamboanga del Norte ay involved sa drugs?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Finally, Ms. Sandra, one last answer to your question. the Vice President mentioned about a palit ulo scheme. However, if you look at the law, this amounts to kidnapping or serious illegal detention. But no attempt has been made to file a case or to report the matter to police authorities, either for data collection or for the filing of an actual case. So, in effect, this does not exist. So, the fact that the Vice President had used this in a speech that makes a conclusion that this is a factual matter is misleading. So that is why this is very important for us. This is the Vice President giving fake news.
Ito kasi yan eh. Pinaparatangan kaming mga social media bloggers na nagbibigay kami ng false news. Kami daw ang progenitors ng false news. That's why, ngayon, sinasabi namin, teka ma'am, ikaw ata ng export ng masamang balita na hindi naman totoo. Kasi kami, we police ourselves. Teka muna, baka mapaso tayo dito. We do it, and yet we are still called progenitors of false news. But our Vice President is going around the world. Now, papunta siyang South Africa. We got hold of it with Congressman Banal, with Senator Pangilinan, with people, sino pa ba? Abad, going to, sponsored by a German organization for human rights. And we don't know what she will be telling them there. And if they are to be believed, because she is telling us, they are telling people there about news na hindi naman natin alam kung totoo o hindi. Kasi hindi verified. So, how can we stop that? Kami na nga mismo, sinasabi na kaming nagbibigay ng false news, but in reality, wala namang maniniwala sa amin, sa totoo lang eh. Na international community, but they will believe her because she has the Vice Presidency seal at the back of her head. She has that position to make it a credible statement. Yun ang masama. Yun ang ayaw naming mangyari sa atin. Because it's not destroying President Duterte. He will end his term, whether we like it or not. But at the end of the day, it's destroying the Filipino people. It's destroying our way of life. It's destroying our livelihood. It's destroying foreign investors coming in because they're afraid that people are going to be killed in the streets. And this is destroying the poor Filipinos who would have jobs if these foreign investors came in and not being frightened away by her statements. Isipin niyo lang po, hindi po yung presidente ang magiging maano dito, nasasaktan dito. Kami pong mga maliliit na tao nasasaktan dito. Kami pong mga tao na naghahanap ng trabaho, na mabibigyan sa ng trabaho if people from the EU would invest in the Philippines. Hindi nangyayari po sa very doing that.
Alright, thank you. Since there are no further questions, we reiterate.
Have a nice day. Hope you treat us well.
We reiterate, this press conference was called for the purpose of announcing our intention to file an impeachment complaint and to call for volunteers, lawyers, researchers, and people with information to help supplement what we are already drafting. The spokesman for this team is Attorney Bruce Rivera, and he can be contacted through Facebook.
Ano naman eh, mahabang pag-usapan yung DUI, diba? Yung mga classification. Alam ko naman yun. Alam ko naman yung
I understand. Kaya in the same way na